Welcome back to the Business Enhancement Series, presented by Efficiency United and Semco Energy Gas Company. In this next section, we're going to talk about where the funding comes from. In other words, how are you going to get the money? Okay, so we're talking about a residential energy project funding, right? So the obvious first place you might go is savings. And, in theory, savings can, of course, be used. Many of your customers be able to write a check for the amount, but it's not necessarily the most likely way for you to get the deal. There are a couple of scenarios that can cause this. One is they just don't have savings, or they've decided they need to save it for rainy days. And even if this seems like a rainy day, maybe they need a rainier one. Maybe they're unsure of the current economy, so they don't want to spend their money. Family might be a place to get the money. Now, this is an awkward one for you to bring up, so probably not the smartest to suggest it. In theory, family can be used, but it's not the most likely scenario. They might be too embarrassed to ask for money from their family, and maybe the other members of their family don't have the money. So that leaves financing, and you can be a resource for your customers of information, and that can strengthen your relationship. You might actually offer financing. Then you have rebates. You can bring them available rebates, which not only will cover a portion of the differential cost of the upgrade, but it also can provide urgency because they're designed to encourage adoption, so they trail off as they gain market acceptance. So the earlier you get in, the better chance you're going to be able to take advantage of rebates. Tons of rebates out there, from lighting with CFLs and LEDs, HVAC, we've got air conditioning, ceiling fans, heat pumps, furnaces, electronically commutated motors, boilers, thermostats, and other controls. For water heaters, of course, storage and the tankless. From the building envelope side of things, windows, air sealing, insulation, your appliances, refrigerators, dishwashers, washing machines, and dryers. Of course, water components. You've got your shower head, your low flow, aerators. So many out there helping make those available to your customers can be that resource of information we were talking about. Remember to let them know that rebates are going to vary for different utilities, and not all utilities offer the same rebates. And those same types of projects come along with the home energy loans that are available. So from appliances to the whole home, HVAC, water heating, there are other technologies pending out there, so staying up to date is important. Details on this at michigansaves.org. When customers need help financing a project, the contractor can be that resource, again, pointing them in the right direction towards what will eventually be a sale for you. Of course, some rules for home energy loans. The project must result from a whole house audit conducted by a certified auditor or from the list of qualified improvements, right? Financing can range from $1,000 all the way up to $30,000, and they're unsecured loans, usually smaller loans less than $5,000 are 12 months. Loans of more than $5,000 can be up to 120 months. Interest rates usually pretty good. They can end up a little higher, but they won't exceed 7%. Here's a good example. The TC Saves residential program provides direct support. Now that includes home energy assessments, incentives, and access to affordable loan options. To Traverse City homeowners looking to make their homes more energy efficient, this is great. Ty and Joanna's home was a 115-year-old Victorian in historic Oak Park. They've owned the home since 2006. So what energy-related problems did they face? Well, the house's insulation had never been upgraded, was letting a lot of heat escape. Freestanding wood stove near the living area. The Schmidt's primary heating source was close enough to the thermostat to keep the furnace off during the winter, but wasn't sufficient to heat the rest of the home. So what improvements were made? The whole house received new insulation, from basement to attic, crawl spaces, everything. And the benefits? The house was very comfortable this past winter without any need for the furnace. The kids were able to sleep upstairs without toques, hats. The energy audit people were very knowledgeable. They trusted the recommendations, very pleased with the way it has made the house more cozy. All right, about the Corrins home. The house was built in the 1890s. They bought the house in 2009. What energy-related problems did the Corrins face? Drafty doors and windows caused their furnace to run frequently. Their basement walls were uninsulated, which resulted in substantial heat loss. What improvements were made? Spray foam insulation installed on basement walls, windows, doors. They installed hot water pipe insulation, CFL bulbs, faucet aerators, low-flow shower head. What were the benefits? Well, they reduced air infiltration in their home by nearly 20%. Annual utility cost savings are estimated to be over $360, which is a 32% savings on heating cost. Immediately noticeable improvement in comfort level of their home. That's the key one. These are real stories, real case studies. The Better Buildings for Michigan Residential program provides direct support, including home energy assessments, incentives, and access to affordable loan options to Michigan homeowners looking to make their homes more energy efficient. A couple key elements. Judy Martiny's home, built in 1976. She's owned the home for 35 years. Well-maintained 3-bedroom brick ranch. Her problems? Improper insulation, great loss of heat, too much ventilation in the roof, so the heat got let out. What improvements were made? New insulation in the roof, 3 windows in the basement were replaced, and discovery of where the greatest energy and money savings opportunities were in the house allowed them to decrease the heating bill after the assessment. So if you can find programs that are available to you in your area, it can certainly help with finding funding. There are FHA Power Saver loans available, and so, for example, for a home energy upgrade, which would be things like insulation, air, duct and ceiling, water heating, HVAC, and that also includes Efficiency United supported rebates. You can get a loan for up to $7,500 to upgrade your energy systems. For the Title I second mortgage, up to $25,000, you could install things like PV or solar hot water, geothermal, other renewables. And then on the rehab, the 203K, that's a whole house. And of course, Efficiency United supports those with rebates as well. Case study on this one, Tyler Kidder bought a 1,000 square foot home, beautifully remodeled, 1931 Maine bungalow. It was just cold, drafty, had high energy bills, and Miss Kidder started with an energy audit. So with a Power Saver loan, she borrowed $25,000. She had a 4.9% interest rate, and by the time she finished her upgrades, she'd gained a 50 to 60% reduction in home energy costs. U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs has energy mortgages available. Now that's available to qualified military personnel, reservists, and veterans looking to purchase or upgrade. So applicants could secure a certificate of eligibility from their local lending office and submit it to the VA-approved private lender. If the loan's approved, the VA guarantees the loan when it's closed. These can finance up to 100% of energy improvements, subject to the following limits: up to $3,000 based solely on documented costs, up to $6,000 if the home energy rating projects the reduction in monthly energy savings actually exceeds the increase in the monthly mortgage. And in a lot of cases, there's no additional down payment on the energy improvements if the improvements can create positive cash flow. Some of the added bonuses: the final loan to value might actually exceed 100% of the appraised value if the energy improvement measures have positive cash flow. The eligible improvements are all improvements identified by a ResNet certified home energy HERS rater. So if you don't have this designation, it may be worth getting it to enhance your business opportunities. It does put you on a clock, but 180-day installation time limit. There's a ton more information on residential energy project funding at DesireUSA.org. That's DesireUSA.org. Now let's move over to the commercial side. First place, the equivalent of savings, is your capital reserves. It's good for simple, inexpensive projects. If companies have lots of cash on hand, you don't need to encourage them to finance it. It's good for projects with short payback periods as well. $10,000, $20,000 with a payback of 2 to 3 years. Obviously, the cash might have a better value actually paying for the project. They might not want to use cash for whatever reason. I mean, some of the business decisions that go into that, though: risk tolerance, in-house expertise, debt capacity. They may have incentives that they would want to borrow the money instead. And one of the alternatives is leasing. So there's some tax advantages to leasing. The operating lease payments are 100% tax deductible. The interest portion of the capital lease payments are tax deductible, and the capital lease equipment is depreciable. It also has predictable payments. Fixed rates, payments match the cash flow. So it could potentially even be done based on the potential savings. Flexible terms, preservation of their actual capital, and of course, the typical financing up to 140% the equipment price to cover soft costs like installation and engineering. Of course, there are opportunities available for businesses as well. You can find out the additional details on this one at michigansaves.org and actually put in an application. But there's financing for lighting systems, HVAC, food service equipment, building operations, building envelope, plus the financing range of $2,000 all the way up to $250,000 with 24, 36, 48, and even 60 months financing. Interest rates about 5.9% is where they start, and the pre-funding available for up to 50% of the project costs. So it can be really easy for a business to get started. In addition, there's a contractor's assessment of 1% per loan. So the case study, Amy Zane owns a beautiful jewelry store and art gallery in Kalamazoo. Amy was approached by a Webster Electric representative who showed her how much money she could save by switching to LED lighting. He also showed her how beautiful the art would look under the new lights. The LED lights actually gave her new sheen to her old store. Customers and even other store owners were taking notice. Little did they know that the new LED lighting actually saves her more than $1,000 a year in utility costs. The Property Assessed Clean Energy, PACE program, is an innovative way to finance energy efficiency and renewable energy upgrades to buildings. So interested property owners evaluate measures that achieve energy savings and receive 100% financing, repaid as a property tax assessment for up to 20 years. The assessment mechanism has been used nationwide for decades to access low-cost, long-term capital to finance improvements to private property that meet a public purpose. So by eliminating upfront costs, providing low-cost, long-term financing, and making it easy for building owners to transfer repayment obligations to a new owner upon sale, PACE overcomes challenges that have hindered adoption of energy efficiency and related projects in our nation's buildings. A really informative 90-second video is on the PACE website. Just go to pacenow.org to watch it, and it'll explain what is available to you and how to take advantage of it. The Michigan version of this was passed in 2010 as Michigan PA 270. It allows the use of tax assessments as a financing instrument for projects. It's important to know the financing is not by the government. It's facilitated by the government, but funding comes from private lenders who take part in the program. Some jurisdictions listed on here, you can obviously see whether it's an area that you could take advantage of. But it includes all types of facilities, projects, project sizes. It's worth looking at to see whether that can enhance your business strategy. Great example here, Big Boy Restaurants takes advantage of PACE financing. Home of the original double-decker famous Big Boy restaurant required some energy efficiency upgrades. The property owners, Joe and Jonathan, were looking for an innovative way to finance building improvements and replace inefficient cooking equipment. Like many small business owners, they were looking for a long-term financing solution that would ensure the building improvements pay for themselves in 10 years. They wanted to improve overall building performance and comfort, upgrade the kitchen equipment, at the same time reducing utility bills, reducing operating costs, and just a general environment improvement. PACE was an obvious solution for the Big Boy owners, and the program offered low-cost, low-risk capital and an opportunity to be good stewards of the environment. Sustainability is a citywide priority in Ann Arbor. In fact, the city of Ann Arbor's mayor is an avid supporter of the program. He says that their city's climate action plan calls for reducing greenhouse gas emissions 8% from 2000 levels by 2015. So projects like these are an important part in helping Ann Arbor reach its sustainability goals. Something new to Michigan this year is actually on-bill financing. This will drastically reduce or eliminate the first cost for the customers and then aligns the timing of costs and benefits to the energy efficiency measures. So really, as their bill is going down, that's when you're assigning in these loan repayments. And since it's tied to a property, the debt transfers across the owner. So the fear of loan default is lessened. This allows third-party institutions to take care of administrative functions while the utilities only need to process the payments. And it can actually be utilized for several different financing vehicles, including loans, leases, power purchases agreements. More about this on the Desire Solar website, the DSIREUSA.org. And don't forget, energy efficiency is here to stay, and the only way for Efficiency United trade allies to go is up. There's plenty of opportunities for sales, business growth, and success, and we're here to help. That concludes this section of the Business Enhancement Series from Efficiency United and Semco Energy Gas Company.